Boy, Zack is back to entertain himself, all of dogs that are here and new dogs that he's never seen before. And here's one that's intact he's never seen before. His name is Harley, and Harley's never seen Jack. Look at the hair up on his back. Well, go ahead, do your thing, man. Let's see what happens. Doesn't take long before they'll begin to interact with each other. You see the hair up on this guy's back. This is a dominant puppy. He's assertive and dominant. He has not become aggressive, but he is assertive and dominant. If you notice, the hair is up on his back, and this is a dog that always wants to play. So he's feeling a little intimidated by Zack. And Zack doesn't seem to have a problem with him, even though he's intact. But if you can see, you see how, look at that. See how he runs away from him? This is a dominant puppy. This is a puppy that you have to start off with being dominant. The human being has to be dominant. And the key factor to this dog is making him come no matter what. If you can make this dog come no matter what, then you can control the way he deals with other dogs and with other people. This is not a dog that you play chase with, keep away, roughhouse, anything that makes him feel that he can challenge people, anything that helps to feed his desire to challenge other dogs is going to work against you. So I kind of want to leave these guys out here to kind of work it out, to see if they begin to play and interact. You know, sometimes we wonder, we get a dog, we get a puppy, they turn out in the beginning to be fantastic, and then we say all of a sudden they change and they begin to become aggressive. Well, we didn't notice the hormonal changes that they were going through, nor did we know what to do when they're going through these hormonal changes. And it's really no different than a child that grows up to be a teenager, and then the teenage hormones kick in, and then some of us lose our kids to the emotions that are being stimulated by the environment of which they're growing up in. There's no difference here. In other words, who do our kids hang out with? Who are the kids that they're interacting with? Who are the dogs that we are allowing our dogs to interact with? Are they the right kind of dogs that are going to put the right emotions into our dog to make them more balanced? Or will they bring forth all the bad behaviors of what we consider to be the bad dog with a dog that's just learning how to behave? Will he adapt those bad behaviors? It's very easy to do that. If you notice, Zack is drooling. The stress hormones are kicking in. Let's see if he turns around, we'll be able to pick that up. But it's who we introduce our dogs to, who we introduce our kids to, who we allow for them to hang out with. What are they learning from each other? Look at the drooling. See Zack drooling? Those are the stress hormones. That's so important. He has never been around an intact male. We would think just because this guy's a puppy, why would he be drooling? I could understand it if he was out with all the other dogs or there was a dominant dog. But he's experiencing the effects of the hormones that this puppy is putting out. And he's learning how to deal with that. You see? Look at the hair up on his back. Yeah. There is a lot that's going on here where they're trying to figure out who they are in relations to each other. But it takes this calculating movement, the smelling, this body language, the time that has passed since they've come out, how they have related to each other physically, emotionally, and ultimately socially now over the water bowl that will determine what kind of relationship they're going to develop. Notice the tail on the puppy, it goes up and down, up and down. And on the shepherd, the tail is staying pretty much calm, in a neutral position. You see? So we know who's feeling as though they have the upper hand, which is the puppy. But although he feels this way, hormonally, what will he do with it? How will this end up? That's what I'm waiting to see. You know, a lot of times this is a waiting game. And as a human being, we want the best for our dogs. We want what we want them to have, which is a good time, to be happy. And rather than wanting what we want, we should be wanting what nature intended from a dog to take away from different situations that will allow for them to become balanced, and try not to force the issue, but just let it organically take place. And that's why when you see me filming, most of the time you'll see me filming away from the dogs, behind the barrier, so I can separate myself from it, so that I'm not influencing things. You see the stress hormones? You see that? There we go. He needed to do that to try and intimidate him so that he can begin to interact. They want to see those body movements. You know? How reactive are you? And in your reaction, what do you do? Can you accept the way I'm feeling and then ultimately bring out the best in me? So powerful. And we have to wait. Now, what are we looking at here? I said this puppy was dominant and assertive, but I left out something. Is the fear that comes along with that. And that fear comes along with not knowing how to interpret the dominant and assertive feelings that he has. Because you can have feelings, but not understand how they're supposed to play out. Or we can have an outcome to having a feeling of being dominant or assertive, and then allowing that outcome to carry us in that direction over and over again until that behavior becomes learned. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way it should be, or that's the behavior that we want, but that's the behavior that we got. And so our jobs as human beings is to be able to do what I'm talking about, but make sure that the dog that your dog is interacting with has the right personality, so that the outcome not only is what nature says that it should be, but that it's positive in terms of the next meeting with the next dog and the next dog and the next dog. And that's what we're doing here with this puppy. And Zack is helping me do that because he needs it also. How to interact with different dogs. And he has a problem with that. And that's why you saw him stressing out, and the stress hormones and the drooling. And you did not see the puppy doing it. Okay? The puppy is responding to his drooling, his hormonal state.